Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of My Hornby Hobby. So you may have heard recently that Hattons have shut down and they've stopped doing the Worley show. And this has caused quite a bit of panic in the model railway community, in that a lot of people are panicking, thinking that it's dying. I'd say that it's not. From a personal standpoint, I was never bothered about Worley. It's too bloody far away. And plus, when you've got YouTubers like Sam's Trains, he can pretty much take you around and show you what's there. So it is quite useful for a range launch thing, but not much else. And Hattons, I don't know how many locomotives I bought from Hattons, but there were a few. But again, I wasn't a hardcore buyer from Hattons, so that's probably why I'm not bothered about it. Most of my stuff is secondhand anyway. So is the model railway community or the industry as a whole dying? No, it's not. It's just changing. It's just adapting to survive, because we're living in 2024 now. When people think model railway, they typically think old burly men in their sheds, who grew up in the 50s with Triang and Hornby 00. That's what immediately conjures the image in people's heads. And, obviously 2024 is a technological era. We're constantly getting faster smartphones and devices and so on and so forth. But these models, they stay the same, roughly. Just a motor, which turns the wheels, and it goes around a track. Nothing particularly exciting there. Now, of course, you can have the option to have DCC and TTS and lights and so on and so forth. But it's just not interesting to the younger generation. I mean, I'm lucky that I got into it when I did. Now, we are quite sport for choice because we've got so many manufacturers. We've got Hornby, Bachmann, Helgen, Acura Scale, Dapol. We've got so many manufacturers who are constantly bringing out new models to suit each need, whether you're doing modern or whether you're doing post-war, whether you're doing pre-grouping, whether you're doing British Railways, whatever you're into, whatever genre of locomotives you like, they will do a locomotive for it. So we're sport for choice on that one. And of course, we've got so many different gauges. We've got O, OO, TT, and N gauge, and there's also like T scale and G scale and so on and so forth. Again, we are sport for choice. But the model railway community has to change if it's going to survive, in my mind. We're losing Worley, and we're losing Hattons, but this gives the rest of the model railway community a chance to step up and fill those shoes, because it's created a void in essence. Because Hattons were typically an online retailer. They sold a lot of second-hand stuff at a much lower price. And I think my Princess Elizabeth might have been from there. I think Cock of the North was from there. My B12 might have been from there. I can't remember how many locomotives exactly I got from Hattons, but there were so few and far between. That's the reason why I don't really care about it. And I'm more interested in either going to a model railway show, so I can see trains going around layouts, or getting stuff off eBay, or going to an antiques place. I'd actually like to see the model in its entirety, essentially. And for me, Worley and Hattons just didn't fill that criteria. I could have gone all the way out to Worley and paced around for a whole weekend to look at stuff, but when you see Sam's videos of it, it looks boring to me. I'd rather there was a bigger atmosphere of loads of different layouts, loads of different traders, and you can engage with people, talk to people that do this as a hobby. Whereas to me, Wally didn't feel like that. Wally just felt like, hey, look at all this stuff that we're bringing out. So no, the model railway community isn't dying. Far from it. It's just failing to engage with a much younger audience. I mean, it's exactly the same as real railways. I mean, they're struggling as well because it's older generations that love the railways, that grew up with the railways, whereas the generation that grew up with a phone in their hand aren't bothered about it. So if no one new is coming in, then skills that volunteers learnt from all those years of working on the railways, they're not getting passed down. And it's basically the same in model railway terms, in that if no one's interested in your hobby, then you've got no one to pass it on to. And it feels like it dies with you. But no, it's not dying. If it was dying, Hornby would have gone bust by now, and a load of other things would have happened. And again, if the model railway community was dying, Sam's Trains, that model railway guy, Double O Bill, they would not be able to do what they do. And there are still model train fairs popping up all over the place. I mean, today we've been to the Chapel on the Frith one, which wasn't that good because it was just all in one room and you're just assaulted immediately by 20 different layouts, loads of different scales. They were all gorgeous though. But, I feel it needs to be separated just a little bit more. Like the one at Woodside, the one at the Heenan Miners Welfare, which we're going to tomorrow. And if you're wondering why I haven't done a whole video of today, I hardly bought anything, just 2 Pullman coaches and 2 wagons. And that's it, pretty much. So it wasn't worth a whole video. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say on the matter. That I feel that it's not dying, it's just changing. But if the model rail community is to really survive in the long run, it needs to bring in the younger generations. So people born past the 90s are going to need to get into it too to help this thing keep going. Because you can't always rely on the sad, nostalgic fathers and the granddads that sit in their attics and, admire their engines behind glass, or that maybe do run them. Who knows? I mean, when we went to Chapel on the Frith today, majority of it was older gentlemen, mainly older men, both on the layouts and on the stalls. I think there was one young lad, just one, and he had basically an Inglenook shunting layout. I think he might have been around my age, roughly. But out of all the people that were exhibiting their layouts, there was only really one young man. And it seems to be mainly men that are there. Because railways have always been seen as a man's thing. You can get your hands dirty. It's very physical work. So you don't need to worry about the model railway community as a whole. I don't think it's dying. It's just changing. It's just becoming something new, becoming different. It's adapting to the current year, to the current state of the world. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. Always much appreciated. And until next time, stay safe and thanks for watching.